No, sir. See, no good. பரவாயில்ல மேலே ஸ்டாப் இல்லை சார் அது
Okay. Unmute lo unnaru.
எல்லாமே நம்ம ஸ்டேஷன் சார் இல்லை மொத்தமாக இருக்காங்க இந்த
Good evening, everyone. This is Sonia Sardar from UNICEF. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I would now like to invite Ms. Alka Gupta, Communication Specialist, to say a few words. Ms. Alka, please.
So, thank you, everybody. I'm Alka.
You need a louder voice, Alka. I think they're slightly distant.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes.
All right. So, I handle communications from UNICEF New Delhi, and I welcome all of you to this webinar on how radio fights stigma and discrimination that's arising out of COVID-19. This is being organized by UNICEF of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in partnership with USAID, WHO, AIR, and association.
I think we need you're breaking right now.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, slightly better.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll switch off my video. Just a second. So can you hear me better now? Hello?
Yes, it's better. Please go on.
Yeah, we can.
So this is the fourth webinar of the series that focuses on ending stigma and discrimination. And we've had three such rounds of webinars across 10 states, engaging more than 300 RJs and programming heads from AIR, private FM, community radio stations. And today we have radio professionals from 6 of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, and Gujarat. I welcome all of you today, as well as the senior programming heads from private FM stations, CEOs, AIR program executives who joined us here today. We also have with us an August gathering, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Rajinder Jog. Zafrin Chaudhary, who's the Chief of Communications of UNICEF India. She will join us a little later in the session. Dr. Ritu Chauhan from the WHO. Mr. Uday Chawla, Secretary AROI. Mr. Rajiv Shukla, AIR. Mr. Sanjay Seth, Dr. Vivek, Specialist, and all my UNICEF colleagues who have joined from the states. They are now requesting Mr. Chawla, General Secretary AROI, to speak a few words.
Alka, there is a lot of disturbance. I would like to request all participants to kindly mute their mics. Yes, please come forward.
Yeah, so I'd like to request Mr. Uday Chawla from AROI to please speak a few words.
Mr. Uday Chawla from AROI, kindly, if you are online, kindly come on board, please. I can see Mr. Uday Chawla. You'll have to unmute yourself, please. Uday ji?
I guess he's not connected to audio. He needs to connect.
Yeah. Mr. Uday Chawla? So while we are waiting for him, we would like to acknowledge the presence of very senior radio professionals who are here. Also, All India Radio has kindly sent us their program executive names from the various cities. So we have Dr. Y. Srinivasulu, Program Executive, AIR Hyderabad, who has joined us. And I would like to, if AIR has joined, can you please give your respective names, because we just now received the names. So while we wait for Mr. Uday Chawla, can I ask All India Radio Hyderabad? We know Dr. Srinivasulu is there. Any other participants from AIR?
Madam, hello. Hello.
Yes, please.
Madam, I am Murugesan, Program Executive from All India Radio, Chennai.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Any other All India Radio?
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. I am Unikrishnan VS from All India Radio, Trivandrum.
Trivandrum. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please mute
evening,
your
madam.
mics in the background. Anyone else from All India Radio?
Yeah, madam, I am Trilok Chandani from All India Radio, Ahmedabad.
Okay. And we have, of course, Mr. Biju Matthew, and we have Shri Rajiv Kumar Shukla from ADG All India Radio with us. Anybody else from All India Radio who has joined this?
Madam, I am Senior Announcer Ganesh, All India Radio Trivandrum.
Wonderful. So, very warm welcome.
Hello, madam.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, I am Uday Bhaskar Murthy from All India Radio Vijayawada, madam. I am announcer.
Okay, welcome.
Hello.
And
this is Concepta Fernandez from All India Radio Bangalore.
welcome, madam.
Thank you.
So with this, we're returning back to Uday ji. Mr. Uday Chawla, can you hear me? We can see his video, but I think if one of the team members can call him, Tripti can call him. We will now then move forward, and we would like to invite all our speakers here who have joined us today. We have got Mr. Surender from Red FM. He's the CEO Red FM South. Speakers who have been designated to speak, if they kindly raise your hand, or if you can just say a word.
Hi Sonia, Surender here.
Hello, hello, Surender.
I think when you're speaking also, it's not 100% clear. I think everyone will have to put it on mute. I think probably either because
Can
of
I
the
ask the organizer to the COVID Institute, please, to put everyone on mute?
Sure. If there's any, but I've made.
Is it clearer now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So should I?
Yeah, we will just be going forward with the presentation now. If Dr. Vivek is here from UNICEF, Dr. Vivek Singh.
Hi Sonia, I can
Yes,
hear
Dr.
you.
Vivek Singh.
Not at all. Apologies. It takes time sometimes. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be able to share my screen, right? And the presentation which
Yes, please.
you had shared. Sure.
Sonia can't hear you.
Pune, please unmute yourself.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Sonia. So first of all, welcome to this workshop. And as Sonia and Alka have mentioned, this is part of a Government of India's campaign, which was started about a couple of months actually ago on stigma and discrimination. And why I'm emphasizing on the fact of couple of months ago, because when I was going through the slides Sonia shared again, I feel some of this may be dated. But nonetheless, the most important point that this pandemic has thrown to us is that the societal issues which were never earlier so
Dr.
apparent.
Vivek, if we can ask you to kindly raise the the audio sound.
Is it audible now better?
Yeah, better.
Okay, let me see this. So the fact that this pandemic has brought to the fore the facts of society, some of the existing societal issues, which also had attribution to the way different states, in fact, and different social groups are responding to this pandemic, and especially issues that were never anticipated, people being in lockdown, children's being not children's not being able to go to school, and some of their other rights. For example, that in many districts of states, when it was found out that what percentage of children are actually online taking advantage of those classes and what percentage are actually not getting those basic rights. And that's when it is being realized that the indirect impact of this pandemic may be far greater if we don't anticipate that in time and make efforts to try to reach the most vulnerable population groups. So within this, why there was a need, and as I said a couple of months ago.
The voice could be slightly louder, Vivek.
Is everybody feeling the same issue? Am I not audible?
Vivek, actually, can you please bring the mouthpiece a little closer to your mouth so that it's...
Is it better now?
Very much better, yeah.
Okay, I don't mind holding it.
Maybe you need to figure out something so that...
No, not at all. Not at all. So yes, I mean, these are all technological challenges. No problem. So why I was emphasizing 2 months ago when the states started realizing that response to this pandemic is getting affected because it's a new disease. Anything which is new and there are unknowns leads to fear. And when something leads to fear, there are people who might intentionally or unintentionally take advantage of that situation. And what was happening was that social stigma against the disease, or who were perceived to be sort of transmitting this disease, was hampering the response more than ever. And for simple reasons that we will see. So, and what is social stigma? As we all know, that if you are trying to attribute a negative connotation to a group of individuals, more so, or individuals, and stereotyping them. And that is what we had seen in the initial phases of the pandemic, where everybody, whole of society approach, we are all working together every day to make sure that this doesn't hamper. But how was this hampering? So we have seen that what are the factors because of stigma, and not just contributing to stigma, was that because of the unknown, science is still evolving. Every day we get new information about the disease. This is leading to fear. Then stereotyping of people who may be having the disease or perceived to have the disease. And then initially we also saw it was unnecessarily being linked to a group of people, maybe also religion, and migrants, for example, outsiders getting it. And then the whole issue of this world is having the biggest psychosocial experiment, as we are saying. So the mental stress associated with people being in home, maybe some of them devoid of their job, and females especially suffering because of the various economic and health and other social issues. And then vulnerable groups, of course, as mentioned here, that children, women, and those who do not have the power within their community or families suffering because of this. Now, who are the, and this now, as I said, after 2 months, you would be easily relating to most of these things, that who are the people initially affected with stigmatization? Those who have the disease, unfortunately, their families, friends, the healthcare professionals, other frontline functionaries, people belonging to certain ethnic minority groups. We had also seen this, and the migrant workers. They were at receiving end while there was shutdowns, and then when they migrated to their places. But why this was a worry, and why nationwide and different states took a stock take. I mean, they did sort of a stock take of the programs, and the stigma and discrimination, the campaign against this was led none other than the Honorable Prime Minister, and then the Union Health Secretary, and everybody decided that all states should make this integral part of their COVID response strategy. Because what was happening, people were concealing symptoms, and when they were concealing symptoms, we know that this could lead to a longer period of infectivity, and they being able to spread it to others. And when people come forward late, the outcomes, although we know 95% of people will get better, they will not even need to go to the hospitals. But we know if people come forward late for a treatment, then the outcomes can be worse. And this stigma and discrimination, and especially for people who may have even lost their social safety. I mean, they have fallen through the social safety nets, have lost jobs and all. So that can lead to a lot of psychiatric issues, and ostracization of health workers and others also we were seeing, which has now reduced, thankfully, with efforts from, I'm pretty sure radio must have had huge contributions, and other forms of media. Now, what you can do further, I'm pretty sure, as you share experiences, so I won't take much time. If you look at all these bullet points, that you would be promoting kindness, solidarity, championing people, any good examples, you must be inviting them. Then especially supporting those who are on the front lines, and people who are likely to get affected, if you can give voices to them. And make sure that every day you promote science, and you de-promote what is false and is not verified. And of course, now we know that the most authentic source of information, and being All India Radio office especially, you must be receiving all the latest government programs. And I must say that during the pandemic, the ministry website for health and family welfare is the most updated. And in fact, now many globally countries are referring to how it is archiving useful information. Then I'm pretty sure now, with the various forms of engaging, even through, I see many of you radio jockeys on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other social media platforms, so which is a new way of communication. So just one point to stress of do's and don'ts, and I'm pretty sure this is much clearer to you. Earlier, we were dehumanizing people, and we were naming them who got COVID, which community, slums or whatever, and then gradually it has stopped. So let's continue doing that. Let's not label anybody as somebody who could spread, or somebody who's diseased. So everybody, now, as you see, many numbers are growing, although the disease continues to be the same in terms of its epidemiology. Most people will not even need hospitals, but more and more we are seeing this happening in our neighborhoods. So if anybody can get affected if we don't take precautions. So that is why we should promote solidarity with all those who have it. So spread the facts, engage local social influencers, amplify the voices, and especially of the most vulnerable, and keep championing people, the hero campaigns, and especially continue to promote solidarity. That if we are, for example, if we are lucky enough that our salaries have not taken a cut, then it is fine to show more empathy to people who may have suffered. For example, if you know that somebody who works with you, for you in your house, so this kind of solidarity we must promote, that people should be ready to take a few people along with them if they have not suffered during this pandemic. And then promote, of course, ethical journalism, not to try to stereotype any community or any ethnic group or people. Sometimes unintentionally also this might happen. This is where I find radio the best channel. So for example, if you're driving a car, or that's where most of the time you listen to a radio. Radio is only happiness if you think of, and television sometimes, for example, you need to shut off from television if you want some sanity. I'm sorry for being straight on that. And then, of course, link up people, volunteers, other youths, champions to all some of the initiatives that you may be aware of. And our communication team can keep you posted on some of these programs across the country. And maybe sometimes you have more information. So again, problematic vocabulary in terms of never label people as cases, victims. So prefer that people who have been unfortunately affected or were treated and have now recovered. So don't dehumanize. And finally, I mean, I think now people have understood it, that maintaining privacy in this case was very important, and refrain from mentioning anything which can be a stratifier for an individual. It doesn't really matter, rich or poor or celebrity or not. So we are all in this together, and we will get through this together was a statement in the beginning and still remains very relevant from the UN Secretary General. So promoting solidarity, and I think radio does it best, promotes kindness. So continue doing that. We'll be happy to take questions and answers. I mean, during whatever